Hello, and welcome. Happy Wednesday. I hope your week is going okay so far. Ours is going pretty well. I am Kat. I am the Nurse Slipper. I am a full-time reseller out of North Florida. I've been full-time coming up close to 3 years now. I did quit nursing. I am an RN. I still keep my license active, but I haven't used it in almost 3 years. And what I really wanted to do with you today is give you kind of some tips and tricks and pointers to increase your sales, whether you sell on eBay, on Facebook, on Poshmark, Mercari, Etsy. It really doesn't matter where. These tips are going to apply to all the platforms. And it's pretty simple things. And a lot of it, you're going to be like, yeah, well, duh. And yeah, well, duh, but that doesn't necessarily mean we always do that. And that includes myself. I am guilty of not checking and not doing some of the things I'm going to mention to you. I will call myself out. And sometimes it's the simplest things that you can do that will make a big difference in your business. So I'm going to go over some of my tips and tricks. I haven't done a ton of these videos in quite a while. So I want to kind of get back to the basics with those of you, whether you're a new seller or seasoned, just touch on some points that I think really could help improve your sales. All right, so we're going to start off with really basic stuff. And number one is your pictures. And your pictures might be great now, but maybe they weren't when you started, or they might not be great now either. What you need to do is take a look at your listings, look at your pictures, and make sure just a few things are done. Number one, it needs to have good lighting. You need to be able to clearly see your item, which also means it needs to be in focus. And one of the things that I see a lot out of focus is jewelry and smaller items. So really look at that item on a computer screen if you can and see if it's out of focus. And if there are items that are out of focus, the pictures are dark, think about revising them, because maybe that's why that item hasn't sold yet. Also, one of the things that I see quite a bit is way too much blank space on sides of an item. So you want to have it cropped in with just a small amount of space around the edges. That way your item is bigger and can easily be seen by buyers. I feel like most buyers nowadays are scrolling on their phone, so it's really important that you don't have that added extra space and that they can see your item clearly and not just a bunch of extra space around it. Next is probably the most seen issue that I come across when I am doing eBay store reviews or eBay listing reviews. If you don't know, I do have a paid membership. It starts at $1.99. Once a month, I do member listing reviews. And if you're in my membership, please feel free to post down in the comments whether it has helped you and how it helped you, so that others kind of know what that service can do for them. So your listing titles are extremely important. Between the pictures and the title, that's how people find your item. So the title is going to help them find it. That picture is going to make them click it. So these are definitely the number two things that you really want to make sure that you're on point about. So with your titles, I recommend having 75 to 80 characters, no matter what platform you are on. I believe Etsy allows 140 characters. I tend to stick right at that 80 character mark. Mercari and Poshmark are also 80 characters, and you want to use all of that space. So think of keywords that will describe your item. Think of uses for the item. Make sure that what the item is, the color of the item, the size of the item is in the title. I actually have had a couple things sell, like a shirt that didn't even say it was a shirt. And I'm like, how the heck did that thing even sell? And now it did take a long time, and that is probably why. So look at those titles, add some keywords in. I do have a video on keywords I'll pop up top for you. And you really have to almost brainstorm to think of all the good keywords. I know that Kaylee Elaine is great at keywords for clothing. I had a couple of members that are in her Resellers Edge group, and they had amazing keywords when I did their store reviews, ones that I do not even know. And one of the things you can do if you can't think of keywords is to search sold items like yours and look at what keywords they're using. So get those titles out to 75, 80 characters. This is going to help you in the search, in the algorithm, and help people find your items. All right, the next thing is going to be ending and selling similar. And for years, I was against doing this. However, it is a process that I have adopted into my daily routine. Every day, I end and sell similar items that have been listed longer than 3 months. And how I choose to do that is I look at items that are ending that day. I see when they were listed. I do put when I list items in my custom SKU, so I know how long they've been listed. And then I will refresh those items if they're listed longer than 3 months. And that goes back to the first two things we talked about. So if you end and sell similar, change that title up, add some more keywords, add some different keywords, check your pictures, maybe change your front picture. Maybe there's one that displays your item a little better. But ending and selling similar gets activity into your account. And you can do this on all of the platforms, not just eBay. eBay is our primary platform. So a lot of this is kind of geared towards that, but it will work. We end and sell similar on Poshmark and Mercari as well. I really have noticed on Mercari, if it doesn't sell in like the first 2 weeks, it's probably not going to. And so ending and selling similar on Mercari, I feel, is very important as well. And again, check the titles, check your keywords, check your pictures, and make those listings more attractive when you end and sell similar. I don't simply relist. I want to create a new item number and again, change some things up so that it looks like it's a brand new fresh item and it is bumped to the top of the algorithm. Next up is probably the most important thing in this whole video, and that is to check sell-through rate. So if you are not checking the sell-through rate on items that you are buying, you need to start. And what that means is you see how many listed items there are, how many sold items there are, and you divide the amount of sold items by the number of listed items. And in order to get the percent, you then times it by 100. And in order to have things sell in under 6 months, you want to see a 50% sell-through rate. So if you search an item, there are 100 listed and there are 50 sold, chances are it'll probably sell in 6 months. But if you see 100 listed and only 20 sold, it's probably going to take over a year to sell. And it's really important. Like if I check a sell-through rate and it's like 10%, I'm really going to consider whether I want to list that item or not, or I want to redonate or give it away. And sometimes it's better to do that. You don't want to take up your listings. You don't want to take up your space and use your time on an item that is going to take forever to sell. So make sure you're checking the sell-through rates. It can be hard with vintage and one-off items, but what you can do is search like kind of like a blank statement search and see, like, I'm trying to think of something. Like most t-shirts you're going to be able to find unless they're a rare one. But if I search for Kachina doll and see it's a 20% sell-through rate, I know it's going to take about over a year for that to sell. For me, I'm still going to pick up Kachina dolls because A, I really like them, and B, I have a lot of space. So the less space you have, the higher sell-through rate you want to look for. So if you're in a tiny apartment or have absolutely no storage, I would look for a 75 to 100% sell-through rate on items you're picking up, so you know that you are turning them over and moving them out fast. And the sell-through rate you can only check on eBay, but I think it's a good indicator for all of the platforms and a really good basis to kind of use to figure out if it's something that's popular and in demand and selling right now. If it is not, again, if you do not have a lot of space, that needs to be stuff you either pass if you're looking it up when you're out sourcing, or it might be something that you say, I'm going to cut my losses. I shouldn't have picked this up. I'm going to redonate it, or I'm going to give this away. All right, next is something that is a little more advanced, but there are a couple of reasons I would tell you to do this early on. Number one is if you are limited in your main platform. So I know Mercari a lot of times will limit people to 100 listings. eBay sometimes lists makes people stay at 10 listings, and occasionally they'll give 250. So if your main platform, you have listed all you can list, you have no other option, it's time to think about cross-posting. Now, if you are established on any one platform, you feel comfortable on it, that's another time that's great to start cross-posting. I personally use List Perfectly, and I use it more for things not cross-posting than I do for cross-posting. Now, I do utilize the cross-posting very much so, but my favorite thing about List Perfectly is their AI Express Lister, which creates listings just from photos. And once I have my listings there, I can put them out to all the platforms I want to list them on. For me, everything goes to Mercari and Poshmark, and then I do hand pick a few that also go to Etsy, and everything is always on eBay. So cross-posting and getting more eyes on your items is going to get you more sales and make you more income. So is a cross-posting service an expense? It is, but it is a tax deductible one, and it is one that should increase your revenue. So it should pay for itself relatively quickly. If you would like to try List Perfectly, I have a code, the Nurse Flipper, all one word, no spaces. You can get 30% off your first month. I do have 3 videos on List Perfectly showing you exactly how to use it. You do not have to use List Perfectly. That is just the one that I personally have used for over 3 years. So I feel comfortable recommending it to you. And it is pretty user-friendly. They are great with their customer service. They have a Facebook group. They have listing parties. So if you are lonely or bored, and this can be a very, very monotonous, boring job sometimes, you know, who are we kidding? If we're listing tons of exactly the same item, we're going to get bored. We might need some motivation. They have listing parties. They have one room that's 24 hours that you can always go in and find other resellers to hang out with, to chat with, maybe even get some help from. And that's another kind of service that List Perfectly offers for your monthly fee. So think about cross-posting, whether you use List Perfectly or not. Think about it, because the more platforms your items are on, the more eyeballs that are on them. And you can manually cross post, but the time that you save, to me, is definitely worth the money that you pay for it, because it saves hours and hours of time. So get your items out there. There are different customer bases on all of these platforms. People that shop on eBay might not shop on Poshmark, and people that shop on Poshmark might not be on Mercari. And then you've got Etsy. It's all different demographics, and it's really different sets of people. So the more eyes you can get your items in front of, the more sales you should have. All right. Another thing that can increase your sales, and I've been doing this a lot lately, and that is lotting similar items up. So I used to pick up scrub tops all the time. I would list one and sell for like 12 to 15, sometimes $20. And I decided that I really want to shoot for a $25 price point on my listings. And when I did that, I stopped picking up single scrubs. So single scrub tops, single scrub pants. I now will only pick them up if I find 2 of the same size and I lot them up. So instead of getting a $12 to $15 sale, now I'm getting a $25 to $35 sale. And I pick up scrubs typically for $1, which is really nice. So $2 into $25, $30 is a great sale. And this has been going really excellent for me. And this is not something you can just do with scrubs. You could do it with shorts. You could do it with jeans. You could do it with shirts. You could pretty much do it with anything, as long as the items are similar. And if it's clothing, you want to make sure they're the same size. But lotting items up can definitely increase your sales, as well as increase your average sales price. All right, there are just a few more things that I want to go over with you. And the next one is to send out offers. If you have not noticed, you can send out offers on, I know you can do it on eBay, Poshmark, Mercari. I'm not sure about the other platforms. I don't think Etsy has that feature that I'm aware of. But if you have that opportunity, no matter what platform it is, use it. People love a discount. They love getting something cheaper than it is supposed to be, right? So by sending those offers and sending them frequently, you will get more sales. I would say over 75% of my sales come from offers, most of them that I've sent to buyers. Now, you do, of course, want to look at the offers that are coming to you. Don't go below what you really want. You know, it's okay to hold out. It's okay to decline. It's okay to counter offer. Make sure you get what you want for an item, but make sure that you are sending out offers, and you really should be sending them, in my opinion, at least twice a day, once in the morning, once in the evening. I typically send them out all throughout the day as well. So I feel that the more frequently you do it, the more likely you are to get a sale, because if you catch that person right after they looked at your item, they are more likely to purchase it, in my opinion. All right, two more things. This one is really important, and that is to check your metrics. No matter what platform you're on, it will tell you how many canceled items you have. Look at your feedback, see what people are saying. If they're leaving negatives and it's constructive criticism and something that you can improve upon, take it to heart. You know, people aren't necessarily being mean if they tell you like item could have been packaged better, item was shipped out late, things like that. Now on eBay, your metrics are really important, because if you're not top rated or above average, your listings could get buried in the algorithm. So on eBay, that means you really want to be careful not to ever cancel any orders because you can't find them or because they're damaged. You want to, what I do is try to find the item from another seller. I drop ship it, or I will offer the customer something else that is of more value if they are interested. And if not, and I tell them I can cancel and refund, then I put that the buyer asked me to cancel and refund, because technically they did. So that's kind of a workaround for canceling because you don't have an item and getting a ding. You want to make sure you ship on time. You know, if you buy something, you want it, you know, and most people want it pretty quick. So I recommend shipping as often as possible. For us, that is every day. And I know that's not reality for a lot of people, especially if you're part-time, but make sure you put your handling time. If that's 2 or 3 days, just make sure you don't ship any later that you are telling your buyer that you will. All right, last thing before I let you go is to be consistent. No matter what you are doing, you need to do it regularly. Being consistent, whether it's listing, whether it's sending offers, consistency is key to being successful in this business. If you're doing something once a week or twice a week, probably not going to be successful. And that doesn't mean tons of time every day, right? It does not have to mean tons of time. It could be 10 minutes sending out offers every day, or 10 minutes photographing. Just do something every day. If you want to build your business, you have to invest the time, and you have to be very, very consistent with what you're doing. So this is one business to me that if you were doing your research, you know you have good items, you take good pictures, the more work you put in, the more money you're going to get out. I really hope that this video and these tips have been helpful for you. Let me know what your favorite tip was. Leave me a comment, hit the thumbs up, share with your friends if they're resellers or they might want to start reselling. I appreciate you watching. I hope the rest of your week is really, really good. Make sure you keep an eye out Friday to see some more of what I have sold in the last week.